watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
So glad you're with us on this Tuesday. It's 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Nada Iranpour. I know it was the unofficial start of summer over the weekend. Yeah. Let's check in with Evan and see if it's going to feel summer-like.
I'd say so.
It was nice.
It was very nice out there. We've had some kind of ups and downs in the forecast.
Right.
This weekend is going to be very nice, especially Friday and Saturday. It is Saturday and Sunday, and in particular to start off next week, going into the beginning of next week, where we could watch for an uptick in humidity. In the meantime, hey, it's comfortable, it's dry, it's mild. AM clouds and PM sun. If you've been in San Diego in the last month, this is pretty much what we've been contending with day over day. Upper 60s out by the coast, mid 70s inland. Out the door right now, mostly 60s, 62 for Oceanside and Carlsbad, and a little bit cooler in La Mesa this morning at 58 degrees, but these temperatures overnight are in about the average range. And skies outside, there are some clouds, but there is not much fog to work with. Coming up, we'll talk more about the warmer temperatures we'll have by the end of the week and about that cool down and maybe the increase in humidity we could be watching for next week as well. Back to you.
Evan, thank you very much. And now this morning, deputies investigating a homicide in San Marcos after a man was stabbed. The sheriff's department says it happened in the 600 block of Richmar Avenue just before 5 p.m. This was yesterday. Authorities say the victim was in his 20s. Deputies have detained a suspect. If you know anything about what may have led up to this, you are asked to call the sheriff's department.
This morning, you're advised to avoid the 2200 block of Congress Street after a portion of a hillside bluff collapsed. It happened yesterday afternoon around 5:30 in the Old Town area. Police say the area is now blocked off until Public Works can assess the damage. You can see rocks and dirt coming close to a black Tesla parked in front of a home. We're told people living nearby had to leave as a safety precaution. No one was hurt.
And now this morning, we are learning some migrants are showing up to their scheduled court hearings only to be arrested by waiting ICE agents, often without an explanation or a warrant.
This is happening in cities across the U.S., including here in San Diego. CBS 8's Chris Groh live downtown now with everything we know about this. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Bait and switch, catch-22, two terms being used to describe how this is playing out, especially in cities like San Diego, but also Los Angeles, Phoenix, and New York. Let's talk about what it is that we're seeing happening. So essentially, these immigrants, they are going to these court proceedings to help try to either gain some sort of status or maybe even potentially citizenship. But when they arrive or even after their hearing, they're taken into custody to be deported. Many are asking, how is this happening? Well, the federal government is asking for the judge to dismiss their case. If that is happening, then that allows them to be deported in days versus years of waiting for their court case to play out. Now, many of these immigrants targeted have only been here about 2 to 2.5 years. Some are describing this again as that catch-22, because if immigrants don't show up to hearings, they risk deportations too. Here's CBS's immigration reporter Camilo Montoyo Galvez breaking that down.
Saying that this is in many ways a catch-22 situation, because if you attend a court hearing now, there is a possibility you could be arrested, and if you don't attend a court hearing, you could be ordered deported.
Now, there is a local law group that works with immigrants called Casa Cornelia Law Center. They wrote out a statement saying, in part, quote, they are deeply concerned by the recent ICE enforcement actions carried out outside immigration courtrooms in San Diego, including an incident involving one of its attorneys and their client. These actions, which occurred under the expanded use of expedited removal, have raised serious alarm about due process, public safety, and the integrity of our immigration justice system. The Trump administration has defended this, saying they are reversing Biden's catch and release policy, which they are claiming allowed for millions of unvetted immigrants into this country. As soon as you do hear more about how this is playing out here in San Diego, including that incident that was described by Casa Cornelia, be sure to update that part of the story. But for now, we're going to send things back to you, Eric and Netta.
Chris, thank you very much for the update on that. This morning, a man is under arrest after a backyard barbecue turned into an hours-long SWAT standoff, this in Lemon Grove. The sheriff's department says 25-year-old Tyron Carter entered a home on Skyline Drive around noon yesterday and threatened to shoot somebody. Authorities say someone else used a golf club to disarm him. People tried to detain him, but he escaped. He then hid in the home. He was eventually arrested around 8 p.m. Nobody was hurt, but that's 8 hours later. Deputies did not say what led up to the initial crime, but neighbors told us the house was hosting a barbecue when the ex-boyfriend of a woman who lived at the home showed up with a gun.
A man is in custody this morning after a car chase that ended when his vehicle flipped over. Happened around 6 p.m. yesterday. Chula Vista police say the man was driving a stolen vehicle. When they tried to pull him over, police say he took off on the 15 northbound, eventually exiting the freeway at Ocean View. But he drove off the road and then rolled down an embankment. Fire crews were able to pull the man out of the car, and he was taken to the hospital. Another chase, this one in La Mesa. Police say this pursuit ended when a relative of the suspect stepped in front of the car on University Avenue. Authorities say 29-year-old Jaleel Johnson tried to run away but was arrested. This all started as a domestic violence call around 10:40 yesterday morning, with Johnson accused of strangling a woman. Police say he held that woman and 2 children in the car for part of the chase before letting them out. Police say Johnson then rammed a patrol unit and the officer inside opened fire. No one was hit. The officer in the patrol unit suffered some minor injuries, and Johnson is now facing multiple felony charges. A standoff in the middle of the 5 in Carmel Valley shut the freeway down in both directions for nearly 2 hours. I was caught up in this yesterday. Deputies say a driver in a gray Toyota Corolla was driving recklessly through Imperial Beach around 10:30 yesterday morning. When they tried to pull him over, he took off. CHP officers used spike strips and eventually used a pit maneuver to spin the car in the northbound lanes of the 5. The driver refused to get out, and officers couldn't tell if he had a weapon, so they shut the freeway down. For those stuck on the 5, it was a nightmare.
Pretty bad. Like, we ran out of gas, and then I had to call AAA.
Low on gas. Need to use the restroom. On our way to the beach.
My car's at 0 right now.
Yeah, it was a long backup. Officers eventually fired pepper balls to force the driver from the car. He was taken to the hospital.
Yeah, people with their day off trying to get to the beach stuck there. And now victims of the Tierra Santa plane crash are being remembered this morning. One of them was honored in Pacific Beach yesterday. The training center, it's a martial arts gym there in PB, held a memorial open mat, as they call it. This for San Diego resident Dominic Damien. He was a beloved member of the gym's community, known for his passion for jiu-jitsu. We are told he was a black belt. Those who knew him are stunned at the loss.
Just an amazing guy, super friendly, super smart. He's actually the first guy I approached to be the coach here when I opened this place, just because I love the way that he does jiu-jitsu, the way that he's able to relay information. Just a nice, great guy.
They're holding his memory strong there. Damien was among 6 people who died in the plane crash in Tierra Santa. Today, Chula Vista Mayor John McCann will deliver his annual State of the City address. This will be in front of the newly opened Gaylord Pacific Resort. Mayor McCann expected to highlight the city's progress and recent milestones, including efforts to reduce homelessness, increase affordable housing, and the efforts to address the sewage crisis. The address starts at 6:30 p.m. Residents are invited to attend.
Taking a peek outside here, we're right between spring and summer now, right? And the temperatures are average, right?
I mean, some would consider summer having already started with, the weekend.
Yeah.
But what we are going to be watching for over the next couple of days is a warm-up that will take us to more summer-like weather. I hesitate to say that it is any indication of the start of summer because there's always the capacity for us to cool down beyond it into the next couple weeks. It is always kind of a constant up and down that trends in the direction of warmer weather by the time we get to the summer months, of course. Looking at your temperatures overnight and as we start off the morning, mostly 60s out there. We haven't cooled down a ton. So we're mostly warmer than average overnight by about a degree or 2. Not much variation there. Clouds are with us as we start off the morning too. This is a live look outside. The plus side to this though is that these clouds are not too low down to the ground. So while it is a bit gray out there, it does indicate that those clouds will probably not stick around for long at all, and that we could be shaping up really nicely for a comfortable midday point, as opposed to those clouds kind of hugging the surface and leading to reduced visibility and, possibility that we see gray longer in the day. It's instead much more likely that we'll get that sunshine. Ridge of high pressure is building overhead. It's interacting with a trough of low pressure that could swing some Pacific tropical moisture in our direction. We'll watch for that, but confidence isn't super high in it. What we're going to see is that as far as your temperatures go, today, tomorrow are pretty similar. We might drop by a degree or two going into tomorrow with stronger cloud cover. And then in particular, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those are warmer than normal days as our inland valleys make it into the mid 80s for Friday and Saturday. Our rain chances are low between now and next week, but you can see how there are a couple days where that chance starts to climb. For tomorrow, that'll be a little bit of marine layer drizzle possible. And then as we get into next week, that's that next possibility of showers. But again, in all likelihood, what that trough is going to bring us toward next week is a slight cooling trend and an uptick in humidity that wouldn't translate as a chance for rain. So while confidence, again, is still pretty low for now, it's something we'll be checking in on periodically. Let's check in on what drive times are like and what traffic is like as we start off the morning. Traffic maps have been very, very quiet. You haven't seen any crashes popping up along the coastline or inland valleys. Getting into Coronado, you have a pretty decent slowdown. Also on the right-hand side of your screen, there is the chance for a little bit of fog out toward the east of Ramona, moving toward Borrego Springs, it looks like. But aside from that, no fog out by the coast or inland. Let's look at your border wait times right now, where it is a particularly long wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. That is normal for the day after a holiday, but you are looking at about a 3-hour, maybe a 3+ hour wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Going to get across a little bit quicker, under 2 hours ideally at the Otay Mesa Port of Entry, but both are still going to run you a bit longer than normal this morning.